people will begin to see and take credit for what's happening and try to make amends. And like I said, it's not anything about anything financial right now. It's about starting the conversation and acknowledging that, you know. Here in Goldsboro, we have the Willendale Cemetery. 800 Confederate soldiers buried out there. And with that cemetery, they fought right here. It's a proud moment as far as the Confederates are concerned because this was their battleground. The railroad from New Bern to Goldsboro to Raleigh came through here, and it was a vital point from when the Union and the Confederate battled right here in Goldsboro. For years, a black person couldn't even be buried out there at that cemetery, you know. But as the city of Goldsboro, we still support that cemetery. We support the Friends of Willendale, which I couldn't find any information on them, but I would love to see the city get behind the black community the same way. And this is a way to start, by starting with this resolution. It's just a resolution, once again, like I said, to start the conversation with the city manager, hopefully, if the council agrees, to just start talking about the things that's going on in the city and start acknowledging our history and what we can do to move forward as far as bringing our community together and not just one set of community. I thank you.
I thank you for bringing this up. I saw what Asheville did, and I was surprised. I look at the demographics there.
Yes.
And
I think it's 13%.
And if they could do it there,
we're 55%.
They weren't asking for any monies.
Exactly.
But they were trying to put things in place for the future.
Yes.
So, for instance, if they had, if we had contractors coming here doing work in the city, they made sure that they gave a higher percentage to hire minorities.
Yes.
So I think those things are just things that will help this community, help this community as well.
Funding into those neighborhoods, housing, people that want to repairs, development, the same way we develop downtown, same way we should develop those areas as well, and invest some type of money into those areas because those same people have been the ones, their ancestors, and they have been at disadvantage from the start. And it's time that we recognize that, and it's time that we do something about it.
I think that I'd like to make a motion that we pass this resolution supporting community reparations for blacks in Goldsboro.
Can we put it off to the whole council's here? Would you mind?
I don't mind. That'll be fine with me, sir.
All right, we good to have the whole council.
That'll be fine.
All right. Well,
Thank you so
I look
much.
forward to hearing from you guys, and hopefully we can start those conversations.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Well, have a good night.
Anybody else, Jim?
Anybody else? That's it, sir.
All right, we'll close the public comment period and we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Consent agenda items B through J are presented for council approval.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Todd, second. Okay, thanks, Todd. Any discussion? We'll have a roll call vote.
Mayor Allen,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Polak,
Yes.
Councilmember Matthews,
Yes.
Councilmember Ham.
Yes.
All right, the consent agenda passes. Next, we have items requiring individual action. There are none. Next, we have the city manager's report.
I would like to mention that North Carolina Governor Executive Order 163, COVID Phase 2.5, took effect on Friday. Biggest impacts was mass gathering limits from 25 to 50 outside and 10 to 25 inside. Also, playgrounds are now available and open to the public, and some recreation activity with businesses associated that previously were closed are now open. Parks and Recs has a student learning virtual Wi-Fi camp available for the students who are homeschooling, or I know they're not school part-time at all right now, but W.A. Foster's open. There's spots for 60 people there. Herman Park Center, 60 people, and T.C. Coley for 45 students, and maintain social distancing. So we recommend people take advantage of that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, next we got council member reports and comments. We'll start with you, Councilmember Williams.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. At our last council meeting, July 13th, in lieu of transparency, I felt it was important that you, the citizens, be made aware that a settlement had been made with a department head. Our city attorney advised this council once we made the settlement, which was done in closed session, that we would have to go in open session to report to the public and have it entered into the minutes. We have had several council meetings since July 13th, but there has been no mention of the settlement. So I asked our city attorney why we have not notified the public and and when his story switched. According to him, he consulted with some other attorneys and they felt it should not be disclosed to you, the public. Even though taxpayer dollars had been used, here's what is concerning to me and should be to you. Why does our city attorney have to consult with other attorneys in order to find a way to hide something from you, the public? Why can't our city attorney just consult and read what the law says? According to some of the statutes I have read, it suggests something different. This is deeply concerning because there have been quite a few other occasions where our city attorney has given inaccurate information, which to me causes problems for us as a city. This has caused me to have to research statute and look to the School of Government on my own in order to get clarity and accuracy because of not feeling confident in some of the things our city attorney has presented. I believe in transparency. I believe that all our citizens should know how and where their tax dollars are being spent. That is why I have consistently asked for a forensic audit. As I have said before, it has come to our attention as a council that we have some financial entanglements in some of our departments, and we don't know if it's intentional or not, but I feel it's making things difficult for us to move our city forward financially. We have had to make cuts in some departments, and in some cases, there's been fees raised which our citizens absorb, like 17% water hike. Remember, it was reported by our finance director that the auditors who were serving us, not auditing, but only doing bookkeeping. To me, that's a red flag. I believe some of my fellow councilmen also felt the same, and that's why at our September 23rd, 2019 council meeting, which was before our elections last year, item M was on the agenda, which was for the forensic audit. It was voted and supported by myself, Councilman Ham, and former Councilman Forster. Post the election, it seems everyone has amnesia. We have since discussed the forensic audit during our 2020 budget session, along with new council members, and a vote was put on the floor regarding the forensic audit. To me, this is another concern I have with our attorney, because why didn't he advise council that when the motion came up in 2020, that we had already approved it in 2019? Well, I asked that question, and I'm still waiting for the answer till this day. Usually, when I have asked for certain things at our meetings that a reasonable attorney should know or not know, how quickly research our city attorney usually tells me. Our city attorney usually tells me he has to do some research and he will get back to me. Sometimes that can be weeks and sometimes not at all. It makes me feel as at times more efforts are put into researching ways to either discount what I'm saying in order to make me look bad or block what I'm trying to achieve for my community. However, I have seen our city attorneys in meetings with some of our other boards and members, and he shows his capabilities to readily access information that some may even deem could take some time to get. But our city attorney will research the information while at the meeting and will get it to them before the meeting is over. I just wish we all got equal treatment. Now back to this whole settlement thing. A local publication on August 24th wrote an article, and they pasted my face on the article that read, "City denies liability, but still paid $25,000 settlement with department head for alleged discrimination." What is interesting is they pasted my face as if I were the one who received the settlement. No image of the department head was who actually got the settlement. Wow. To me, this is a long-standing media game we have seen played out all too often by some media who consistently want to push the propaganda of the big black bad man. Shame on you, all who willingly participate in things that push these stereotypes, especially with what we see happening right here in our country. Doing this could get a person hurt. It's disgusting. If you have truly followed the Simpson-Carter-Williams saga, as the publication has stated, their wording, they feel like this is a soap opera. But this is real life, and me, my family, and my community has been hurt by these untruths. See, in my opinion, the wrong individual received the money. We could have used those dollars to help children with hot spots so they don't have to do schoolwork downtown in the hot sun. Or we could have took some money and helped homeless people get off the streets for at least a month or two. Just my thought. Again, let me state, I did not, nor have I ever done anything to the Community Affairs Director or any other person working with the City of Goldsboro. And what I have had to endure because of these lies is downright shameful. I think it is important accurate information is put forth to stop some of the misleading information that is confusing our community. For example, this article states that I violated the settlement details. Listen, the article states I violated the settlement details of confidentiality. This publication would have you believe that I did not follow the confidentiality rules because I spoke to you, the citizens, and made you aware. Part of my job as city councilman is to keep you, the people, aware to the best of my ability. I believe most of you understand sunshine laws. They are meant to shed light on municipalities and keeping them free of corruption. Remember, I made mention of this earlier. Our city attorney, city manager, our clerk, and my fellow council members had numerous closed session meetings pertaining to this settlement matter. Again, our city attorney advised us once the settlement is agreed upon, we, the council, must come out of closed session and vote in open session to legally approve the process. To this day, that has never happened, which also means the correct procedure didn't happen. It appears to me we have failed the open meetings rule. Remember, $10,000 of public funds were used toward the insurance deductible to settle the suit. It must make you wonder how many other settlement cases have the city incurred that has not been part of the public record. Let's get back to the article. There are inaccuracies throughout the article, and you will hope once the inaccuracies are discovered, the publication will go back and make any necessary corrections. Let's hope we start to see this happen for our community's sake. It's troubling because I never see these types of publications attack my fellow white brothers and sisters to the level of viciousness that we see the attacks on our positive black men who stand up to educate our children and fight for the betterment of our community. Black men like me that have been falsely accused, reminding of the times of Tawana Brawleys and so many other stories like those. I now also see the same attacks when it comes to our black women. The sad thing is these publications have the information to dispel all the untruths, but they choose to spin words and omit pertinent information that proves otherwise. Forgive me, let me get back on course. If you've read some of the contents of the article, there are some truths. Paragraph 7, that the city agrees to direct its employees with personal knowledge of the EEOC's confidentiality agreement. By the way, me explaining to the citizens as a council meeting, breach of confidentiality. I am not an employee, nor had I ever saw and signed any paperwork stating confidentiality. If you reread, you will see it states this to the individual who receives the monies. Now, there might be a violation, not by me, but if my memory serves me, I believe the same publication first broke a story on September 11th, 2019, reading, discrimination claim filed against city councilmen, and it showed the EEOC documents. Is this the one who gave the news publication the EEOC's documentation to publish the one who broke the confidentiality agreement? Especially since I did not have access to the information. Only a few individuals have access, and that is the city manager, HR, and the person filing the claim. I asked the city manager, did they release the information to the publication, and I haven't been given a clear answer yet, nor have they shown any concern that confidential city documents are being released to news outlets without authorization. I feel since it further defames me, there is no urgency. Remember the information I have been seeking for months and could not get it. Yep, that's one of them. Correction, I think they let me peek at it for a few minutes. It's no secret. They have been consistently asking for public records, and it's also no secret they have been blocking in every way possible me from receiving public records. It's been costly and discouraging for some seeking public records. Notice I said some, while others appear to get what they want at record speed. Perhaps I need to start asking Mr. Fine to request public records for me, the city of Goldsboro for me, and then maybe I can finally get potential breach of confidentiality. Mr. Fine states, we all know what potential means, the chance or possibility that something will develop and become real. Well, let's go with law and deal with the confidentiality issue. Settlements made by or on behalf of public agencies, public officials, public employees, public records, no agency of North Carolina government or its subdivisions, nor any council, insurance company, or any representative acting on behalf of such agency shall approve, accept, or enter into any settlement of such suit, arbitration, or proceeding if the settlement provides that its terms and conditions shall be confidential, except medical malpractice against a hospital facility. And that's statute, General Statute 132.1. Lastly, according to the North Carolina Public Records Act, it is to provide for liberal access to public records consistent with that purpose. In the absence of clear statutory exemption or exception, documents falling within the definition of public records in the Act must be made available for public inspection. And there are tons of decisions that support public records being acceptable to anyone who would like to go and review. I have 106 case notes that would help shine light on this scenario. Knowledge is power, and the more you have, the more you can become a threat for those who work hard to keep you from the truth. Remember, at one point in time, they said someone like me was 3/5 of a man. Be careful of the information that is fed to you because it can starve your truth or feed your ignorance. God bless you and good night. And thank you for your patience with me.
Councilwoman Matthews.
No comment,
Councilmember Ham.
No comment.
All right. I got one thing, and that is I just like to, everybody, a lot of people know by now, but we lost a true pillar and a true rock in our community this past week with the passing of Charles Norwood Jr. He was just a great person. He graduated from Chapel Hill, went to the Marines a couple of years, and then came home in 1957. I wasn't even born then. Came home and started his family's business. And he, Mr. Norwood, any of you that know him, he never looked back. He was full steam ahead. He and the Cadis has built about half of Goldsboro, Spence Avenue, all that up in there. Back when I was growing up, I remember them doing all that. But I just want to say he is just as good a person as you could ever meet. Some of the things he's done is he was on the board of the United Way. He was on the Wachovia board. He was chairman of the Goldsboro Parks and Rec Committee. He was chairman of the Goldsboro City Schools for 12 years. He was on Friends of Willowdale, the Community Soup Kitchen. He was a big, big member and supporter of St. Stephen's Church, serving on their vestry. But he just did some great stuff. He survived by his wife of 62 years, Miss Nancy Norwood, and he had 3 kids, Sarah, Ann, and John. And so I just wanted to tell him my heart's with him, the city's heart's with him. The family, we're here if we can do anything to help y'all. Anything else? We'll stand adjourned. Thank you.